Hi everyone, this is your host Shreya, the founder of Sync, today having a special guest to interact with us. Our special guest is Gurpreet, who's going to share about his experience and journey with us. So I'm going to learn as much as from you. So hi Gurpreet,
Hello.
welcome to Sync.
Hello.
How are you feeling today?
It's great. It's a great, lovely day, and the weather is wonderful. I returned back from home. It was really hot in the north. It was like 40 degrees. It's very much relief in Bangalore. I mean, I love Bangalore. It's been a year now in Bangalore. So, yeah, nice meeting you again after a long time.
And as he mentioned, we met in a very, you can say, as an activity. We were doing acro
Acro yoga,
yoga.
yeah.
So this is the exact time when even I was kind of getting out and exploring, and I'm sure Gurpreet had no idea what I was going through
Yeah.
at all. I was pretty active though.
Yeah, it never looked on your face, right? That you're going through something. You was always chirpy and happy. We did the acro yoga for like 6 continuous months, and then we stopped after that. I mean, we're trying to do it again. Let's see how it goes. Our trainer have gone to Rishikesh, so maybe.
Yeah. To get started, I would like to ask Gurpreet, can you explain us a little bit on what exactly is your condition and you both, and what are like the symptoms that, how did you find out?
All right, it's a really long story. Some time to understand. Yeah.
We do.
So, all right. So it was back in Ahmedabad when I was doing my PhD. It was a 5 years program there. I joined into 2017 there, and I was quite active. I used to do yoga regularly. I was really active in sports. I used to play basketball regularly. I was in tennis and all. Uh, but then even after doing all these activities in sports, getting involved in yoga on a day-to-day basis, I was seeing my energy level going down like every evening. Like by 4 and 5, my energy would like go really down. I was not sure what it was, and then I never checked. I never did a medical check because there was always this thinking that I'm active, I'm eating healthy, I'm eating organic food, and all of that. What would go wrong with me? But this kept on happening for like quite a long time. Uh, every evening, my evenings would be like I'll be like severely depressed. I would go back to room. I would spend like a lot of time in the morning in my in the library because PhD require like reading a lot. So every evening I'll go back to the room. I'll sleep at least 2-3 hours to rejuvenate myself. Like by 8, I'll wake up, have dinner, and then it became a routine for me. I thought that maybe because I'm reading a lot, I'm exhausting because of my energy level is going down, and which is why I thought it's better to sleep for a while.
Mhm.
Till then I was not aware that something is wrong with my body, right? And so what happened during COVID in 2019, sorry, 2020 was the first wave, right? Nothing happened during the first wave. I was like pretty fine and well. I was doing yoga every day, and I was lucky to be in the campus because it was a 40 acres of campus. uh, but in 2021 when I got COVID, that was like second wave, when it was the most deadliest COVID wave. I think everyone is aware of that. Yeah. I was suffering from like fever for at least continuous 15 days. I used to record my fever. It was going as high as like 102 degrees, 103 degrees, like on a daily basis. For 15 days, I couldn't get any relief. I popped in a lot of pills. I used to be a person who would never take a pill even after I'm getting cold or anything, because I felt I used to think that my body should heal itself rather than depending on the medicines and all. I learned about my condition only when I got admitted in the hospital because of COVID. It became so severe that doctor had to admit me, and then they did like a lot of blood tests. They were not sure what's happening with my body because I was not recovering at all, even after like a lot of medicines were given to me. And then they realized that I have got hypothyroidism, and it was a very advanced level of hypothyroidism. It was not even a basic level of hypothyroidism. So, giving you a context, the pills of hyperthyroidism is basically a hormone pill which you have to take once you develop hypothyroidism. You start with 25 microgram. It can go as high as 150 microgram. So my condition was so bad that I started from 150 microgram,
Wow.
and people would generally start from 25 microgram and see whether it is working for them or not. But then doctor told me that you never got it tested, and you were having this autoimmune disorder for like really long time. And then I learned that my thyroid gland was completely gone. I mean, it's still there, but the function stopped. And I was told that it was because my body has stopped, not stopped, I would say. It did not understand the difference between the hypothyroid gland and an external, what do you call it, external cell. I think that's what autoimmune is all about,
Yeah.
right? Your body starts consuming your own body's cell, right?
Yeah, in different.
Yeah, in different ways. Yeah, that's when I learned about the autoimmune, and that's when I researched a lot, because I was not sure whether I am the right person to have this disorder. And then I would keep on questioning myself, what went wrong. I was eating well, I was doing all the exercises, I was not smoking, I was not drinking at that point of time, right? So, but then there's like a lot of questioning about this disorder, that why me,
Exactly.
this is something I think a lot of people would relate to, that despite of doing all good, you're still suffering from this disease.
Exactly.
So I would say at that point there was like complete shift of my personality from that stage to what currently I am. Before learning that I have got autoimmune or hypothyroidism, I was the person who would be like completely eating organic, not taking pills, right, and not drinking alcohol. By the way, I started drinking after that, so that's another story altogether. Yeah, so you change a lot after that. So I stopped. I became a different person altogether after the disease. So yeah, this is. I think it's a really long story which I talked about. Yeah.
No, no, it's perfect. Please don't even apologize. There's no apology in this platform.
Yeah, yeah.
A little bit more description about what is hyperthyroidism for probably some users who are not so familiar about what it might
Okay.
be.
So hypothyroidism, basically, we have a gland which is which is based around our neck. It's called thyroid gland. It has a very crucial function. It releases a hormone called thyroid hormone, which is very important for your body, because it eventually, the particular hormone which is released from from the thyroid gland, it stimulates your pituitary gland, which is based on in your brain.
Yeah.
And it eventually does like a lot of activities specifically related to your metabolism.
Yeah.
So the thyroid gland is very critical for your metabolic activity, right?
Exactly.
So there are two kind of condition. If the thyroid gland is overly stimulated, which means it is releasing more hormones, you will have a condition of hyperthyroidism,
Okay.
which means your body will be hyperactive. You will sweat more. You will feel lot of you will feel heat a lot in your body, and you will also feel that you will eat a lot, but your body will not get accustomed to that food, and you will be very lean in the condition of hyperthyroidism. But I had a condition of hypothyroidism. What hypothyroidism is, basically, your thyroid gland is not producing enough of hormone which is required for your own body. Yeah.
Okay.
In hypothyroidism, what happens? Your metabolic activities goes down. Your body is not processing your sugar. Your immune system will also go down, and in a severe condition, you will also have like depression. Sometimes you will also have suicidal thoughts. I have talked to some people, like those who have hypothyroidism. They talked about suicidal thoughts just because of
Yeah.
hypothyroidism, because you're unable to process. You will have conditions like mind fog. You're
Yes.
standing at a place and you're unable to know what's happening, and this was something which I also went through at some point of time.
Yeah.
Brain fog, people would associate it with COVID, but I would say I was experiencing it before COVID, not just after the COVID. Yeah. So this is in short. I think whether I explained it properly or not, but
It's-
yeah, hyperthyroidism and hypothyroidism, these are the two conditions.
Basically, majority, like a lot of people that go through like autoimmune conditions or endometriosis get a lot of like mental negativity, you can say, where it's very clouded and you feel a lot of like depression, and yeah, it's sort of like what is going on within yourself technically. Is that how you would explain it?
I was when I did not learn about hypothyroidism because I was unaware of the disease, right? It was when I got COVID I learned that I had a
Yeah.
hypothyroidism. But before that, I told you, I mean, I used to feel like my energy level is going really, really down, despite of doing all the work, taking all the supplements, right?
Exactly.
Despite of having good food, despite of having good active lifestyle,
Everything,
every
yeah.
evening my energy level was going down, and not just energy level, my mental, I had like mental blocks. I was unable to focus in my, in my thesis when I was doing my PhD. I was unable to read sometime. I would like feel sleepy a lot. And every evening I had to like pause and sleep for at least 2 3 hours to, maybe rekindle my brain to work again. So that was the phase when I also went through like depression. I also did some therapy. I also saw like a therapist in the campus. I was mostly attributing all of this to like some. I had a breakup also. That's another story.
All
so,
at once. It's like, God,
so
open all doors.
I was going through a breakup at that point, and and I was associating everything to that breakup, even though it was like 2 years back.
Oh,
So I was not sure whether it is because of her or whether it is the disease or something. Yeah.
give it an
So,
honor.
but
No.
then, yeah. Once I learned about it, once I started having the pills, now I feel way much better. I'm way much, I would say, happier. I mean, happiness is like a contextual thing,
Yeah.
but I'm way much active. I don't feel sleepy. I'm very active around the day, right? Uh, all I have to do is take a pill. So I have every morning, empty stomach, I have to take a small pill of 125 microgram. It has gone down now from 100 to 50 to 125 now. Um, I have to take a pill every in the morning, and that's it, and I'm good to go. It's very small pill, and sometimes I feel that this small pill is making so much of a difference in my life, and I have to be dependent on it for like my whole lifetime.
Whole life,
Yeah.
yeah. And just to get a brief understanding, how long time did it take for the doctors to conclude to what you're having from when you went to the doctor consultation?
But after I got the COVID, it took them like 2 days to understand that I have got hypothyroid, and because my body was not responding to the medicines which they were giving for COVID. And then when the blood result came out, they learned that it's not because of my body is not responding. It's the fact is that my body is responding to my so my body is not responding to the medicine, but my body is attacking my own body. Okay, I'll explain what exactly happened in the COVID. After I got the COVID, I had a severe condition of COVID because my body was earlier, feeding on my not feeding. I would say it was not differentiating thyroid gland and my own body. The difference
Yeah.
between my cell and the thyroid gland. What happened after COVID? It again the problem went to the lungs, right? So my body was eating my lungs now. Earlier it was eating my thyroid gland, and now it started eating my lungs. And I think a lot of people went through this issue of what do you call it, autophagy? No, autophagy. There's a term for that. That the WBCs start eating your lung cells,
Okay.
and um that's when your COVID condition severes after that. So I had to, the doctor gave me like 5 steroids. So the role of a steroid is basically to suppress your own immune system. So they gave me like 5 remdesivir over a period of 5 days. And I was lucky to get remdesivir at that point because it was selling at black market at a price of 50,000 per vial, and I was lucky because it was initial stage of COVID. So they suppressed my immune system so that my body does not eat my lung cell.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's when they learned that it was something which started from my thyroid gland. Sorry, but then it eventually went to my lungs because of COVID. And then they gave me injections, and then they gave me blood thinner. They gave me remdesivir, and that's when my body calm down basically. And even today, when I get my blood test, there is always whenever I do allergy test, there is always a higher number for that allergy, which means my body is still resisting something in my body. So the number is somewhere around 200. I don't know the medical science of it.
It's okay.
But yeah, but
You're sharing.
the doctor would tell your number of allergic number is somewhere around 200, which is not normal, and it is always the case. And it's always the case because my body is still fighting my own body. So it's going to be the same like for whole of my life. That's what the doctors told about me. Told about it. So yeah.
Thank you for sharing. Like that was in depth detail of like your journey point by point. What has positively come out from that? Like how has it changed you from before to like what has made you have a positive impact from this?
Okay, so I'll tell you the transition which happened like before and after maybe. Like before I learned about this disease, I was like a complete pessimistic. I would say I would see negative in everything, at least as far as the food is concerned, right? Because I worked a lot with the farmers, and I would see food as poison, specifically vegetables like brinjal, tomatoes, and chilies, because a lot of pesticide goes in it. I would be eating organic food. That was another thing. I would not take pills very immediately. Whenever I would get a cold, I would do like all the steaming and all the kada vada vagera thing and all. That was me before. I would not drink. I would not smoke like all of that. I'm not saying that I started doing all of that. No. But yeah, I would say that I was more fearful, conscious, maybe fearful about what's going inside my body. And then later I learned that once I had COVID, I ate so many medicines during that treatment. I had steroids, I had pills, that even in my entire lifetime I never had so many medicines. But what I realized is that the same medicines actually saved my life. So now I don't even think of popping a pill of vitamin D or B12 or multivitamins. I feel that this is for there's something to medical science, and I respect that now. Earlier I was like, no, medical science is all it's all for looting money and all of that. So that was one of the transition. I changed a lot in terms of my perspective about life. The second thing which changed a lot, that I started drinking. I mean, I'm not saying that I
Probably a drink. Yeah.
yeah. So I enjoy drinking. Whenever I got the one like I got one life. I'm not saying that is affecting my. So my doctor has said that it's okay to drink and all.
Doctor approved.
So doctor approved. So yeah. So that's what changed as my perspective. I'm very open and liberal about ideas. I'm not very. Before COVID or before the disease, I was more crystal in my thinking. I would be very, what do you call it, limited in my thinking, that I would not, oh, this is the way, this is the right way of doing things. Now I feel that, everything should be looked at a liberal perspective, whether it is veganism, whether it is, vegetarianism, whether it is drinking alcohol, or whether it is, I mean, people do things because of various reasons, right? And I am no one to judge other person. I would do that before I had this thing. So I changed a lot. I stopped judging people on eating fast food or or drinking or smoking. So
Yeah. And what was the one thing that you were positively keeping yourself positive during you were speaking in terms of your thesis and studies? Was there anything you did to keep yourself positively motivated?
I think one thing which really helped me during my thesis, once I learned about this disease, and once I went through a rough phase of COVID, because I was in ICU during that phase. What I did, like for 6 months, I was like regularly doing yoga, pranayam. I mean, that was really important. Pranayam helped me a lot to recover my lungs. Second thing which I did regularly on a regular basis, like I would go out in the nature. I would walk barefoot, right? I did like a trekking after 6 months. Uh, People told me that you shouldn't be doing it because your lungs are not good enough to do that. But even then, I pushed myself to be out there in the nature. I did trekking. I was doing regularly yoga. I was doing yoga regularly. I started walking. I think to summarize it, I mean, I would say being there out in nature helped me a lot. I mean, rather than just sitting in my chair. Otherwise, I would be maximum of my time I would be sitting in my library chair and not moving at all. So that is something which changed a lot, and nature helped me a lot. I would say, yeah, being in sun, being in water. I would go to. There's a place in Gujarat is very popular called Dangs. It's an extension of Western Ghats. Every weekend I would go there. So I would swim in dam. I started learning swimming after that. So it was fun. I mean, yeah. So being out there in nature was wonderful. Yeah, I started gardening also. I After that I did like lot of. I owned a lot of pot after that in my home. So, and it is so funny that there was my room was so beautiful after COVID because of plants and all of these things. I got best room award. There was something called best room in IMA. So yeah, so that was quite funny. That is totally anti-men. I mean, people would say, men don't keep their rooms clean, and then they would say, then you meet Gurpreet, then you will understand what does it mean.
You had mentioned, if I fairly remembered, you had mentioned even the doctor said something on those lines when he diagnosed you, I guess, with.
Yeah, I mean, one thing he was saying that I don't exactly remember our last conversation, but yeah, I mean, he was like, why would you get this disease? I mean, you are like perfect person. I mean, he was like, you don't smoke, you don't drink, you do yoga. I used to do yoga earlier also.
Yeah, yeah.
I was doing regular yoga. I was walking regularly. I was eating good food, as far as my knowledge is concerned. I was eating organic food. I was cooking by myself.
Yeah.
And he was like, why did you get this? I mean, we have no clue. And so it happens. I mean, your
Yeah,
body, maybe it is genetics,
Exactly.
could be genetics, could be something which might have triggered in food, which I was not aware.
It
But
could
yeah,
be anything.
it
You
could be
just
anything.
You just
Yeah,
don't know.
it could be anything. And I think there is no, there is no, I mean,
Definite.
yeah, there's no definite answer to why people get thyroid,
Exactly.
hypothyroidism or hyperthyroidism. It just happens,
Exactly.
and it can happen anytime
To anyone.
to anyone. And
Exactly.
there was one more thing. Yeah, there was one more thing which doctor said that hypothyroidism is generally more common in women, not in men. Uh, Even in my in my network, most of the people, those who I know, have hypothyroidism are women.
A woman.
I was the only person as a man who has a hypothyroidism and
Breaking.
who has a active lifestyle, who has an active, you know,
The reverse.
yeah, all the reverse, all good things, and even then you are having this disease. So yeah, so these are the two things he told me about. Yeah, you are a rare case,
Breaking all stereotypes and barriers.
right?
Did you ever, like they say, journaling helps a lot, or like writing down? Did you ever like go into that space where you
Uh,
did something around that?
Yeah, I think I remember. Yeah, thanks to bring this up. Yeah, I mean, I think during that recovery phase, I mean, if I speak a bit more about that recovery phase after COVID, as well as me learning about my condition of autoimmune and hypothyroidism, I did like a lot of things. I went to nature. I did yoga regularly. I was doing a lot of. I was just being in nature, and apart from that, for my mental health, I was actually writing. I was writing. I was journaling a lot. I was writing a lot. And for hours and hours, I was just writing. Whatever was coming to my mind. There was time that I was like, there was like complete mental block, and then what I would do, just go and sit at my table and I will start writing. And I used to use my ink pen. I love ink pen, so I used to write, and my ink pen would like, my ink will get over, and then I refill it, and I will keep on writing. And then, interestingly, once I learned that I'm better off now, I just buried that diary, which was journaled for like 6 7 months, into a decomposition pit. I used to have a decompose. I have a bin where I decompose my kitchen waste, and I decomposed it, and it became a soil. And that was, some people burn it. That's another way of doing it. But yeah, I mean, so basically, I wanted to tell that whatever is there, it's eventually going to be in the soil, right? Even after I die, it's going to be in the soil.
It's like giving off to the universe
Yeah.
and just setting it free. So technically, it's a ritual. If you're not very familiar with it, writing down anything and either burning it or burying it is a ritual where you're kind of setting yourself free from it or setting it to the universe, so you can kind of start a fresh start, further moving on, and clear a path for bringing a new chapter in, you can say, in short words.
Yeah.
That's a very beautiful thing that might have. Did it ease your mind, or what is the feeling after that?
Whenever I would write, even today I do write, but it's more of not so frequent as it was earlier. Whenever I would write, I would just feel like really free. I would feel like relieved because there's a lot of time when you have no one to talk,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
When I say no one to talk, no, it's not the meaning that I don't have anyone to talk around. What I mean here is that whatever you talk, you don't have people to understand what you're talking, right? Is best The best way is to write because the diary is not going to judge you. You can write everything there, you can write any damn thought there, and then you can go back or not go back there. Once you write everything, once you write all of your feelings, all your thoughts, which is coming in your head, you're just light. You're just not heavy anymore, right? Whatever heaviness you feel in your chest or in your stomach, you're just relieved after that. So I would say every time I would write, I would feel more relieved. Yeah.
It's a great de-stressor in one line that you just explained. Feeling light, feeling released,
Yeah.
because technically, when you go through a traumatic experience or a really heavy experience, to kind of comprehend that, your body or your cells, or you can say parts, will actually store these memories. And for a long time we just ignore it as like it's okay, I'm fine, and it gets into like more serious situations. So that's how they say, like, you get chronic pain or chronic stress, which is also different types of it. So doing something like journaling or writing it down actually releases those memories into like a form where then you can release it, like I said, to the universe and let it go. Let yourself free and be free mentally, physically as well. So
Yeah, I
yeah,
think thoughts play a bigger role, right?
it does. It does.
Yeah.
It also makes you feel like you can just be in any state or emotion when you're writing.
Yeah.
You
Right.
can.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, you can cry while you're writing. I did because there would be thoughts which would make you cry, and sometimes you would, write gratitude.
Yeah.
Whenever you're feeling low, you can say that these are the things which I'm grateful about, and
Yeah.
you can go back to those good things in your life, and then you will always be, not happy. I would say you'll feel better about whatever you're going through, right? So gratitude journal, I used to do that. That's something which I also used to do. I used to read it every night before I go to the sleep. I did it. I'm not saying that I did it for like a really long time. I did at least for a month or so, and then it was a good time. I mean, I would say I went inside rather than uh, looking outward. Right. I became more conscious about myself, and I think these are the times when you become more spiritual.
Yes.
I myself I don't follow my own religion and any religion, for God's sake, or for Mark's sake. Right? But I think I became more spiritual. When I say spiritual, it means that you're trying to connect, which is inside you, right?
Yeah.
You're trying to connect with that person inside you. And I think in a lot of religious texts is written that God is inside you. I mean, when you say
Yeah.
God, it's basically the spirit which is residing inside you, and you need to connect with them. And I think a lot of time when people try to numb those feeling or connection, when your inner calling is trying to tell you something, uh, people would you know go to drugs, go to alcoholism, go to
Yeah, to
smoking
suppress
to
it.
suppress that.
Yeah.
So when there is a calling from inside, and some people would try to suppress it, and I feel that if you're suppressing it, it will come out in a different
In
form,
different form.
in a form of disease, in a form of pain or something. So I would say it's always better to connect connect to yourself, talk to yourself, write about what you're
Yeah.
feeling, So I think I became more spiritual after that.
Yeah.
Whatever you can call it, whatever. So my kind of definition of spiritualism is this. I don't follow any ritual. I mean, maybe this
Yeah.
is one of the ritual. Writing about it. Yeah.
Unconsciously like just
Yeah.
happened, but yeah,
Right.
I mean, it's, I won't call it like a ritual, but it's a sort of like, since you're connecting inward to yourself, you're also connecting with Mother Earth, and you're releasing it, so you can.
Yeah.
So that's also a form of like spiritually being connected, you can
Yeah.
say in some term. I mean, I'm trying to grasp every single information that you're given it. I think, yeah, it's been a lot, quite a lot
Yeah, I think
to go
it,
through.
it was like I would say I
Roller
spoke really
coaster.
fast. I mean, I usually
No,
don't
it's
speak
good, it's
fast.
good, it's good.
But then
Yeah.
I feel that this was like a very short snippet what I went through because only the person who has gone through it would actually understand because the your story was also somewhat similar because I learned about it very recently. But yeah, I mean, you can always tell your story to others so that
Yeah.
people would know that they are not alone in these kind of conditions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that it's also not gender stereotypical.
Yes.
It doesn't just come to like one or the other person, it can come to anyone.
Anyone, yeah.
And I really appreciate Gurpreet for his confidence and actually like coming out of the comfort zone to actually speak, on this topic. I think this is your first experience, right?
I am not camera friendly. I mean, not very camera friendly, but yeah, I mean, this is. I don't fear stage, but I fear cameras. That's something.
That's
Yeah.
very true.
Okay. Yeah. So it's been a hell of a journey, yeah. But because but I think it's an important journey for everyone, for at least for me, because I learned a lot in this journey. Yeah.
Yeah.
How to connect with myself, how to keep myself sane. Yeah.
Yeah. And one more thing to ask you, did you get any like support or help around this time? Like any
Okay, so I would say in terms of support, I mean it's too very saddest to tell about, but I'm the kind of person I am. I'm a very loner. I mean I try to build my own support on my own support system. I've been very resilient in bringing my own support system. I've gone through a really rough time in my lifetime. I've lived in Sudan. I lived in a civil war condition for a week. I went through a lot of trauma in that period of time. Even then, I survived by my own, uh, what do you call it, support system.
yeah.
I did see a therapist, but I think the therapist did not help me a lot because therapist you need certain kind of therapist to heal you, right?
Yeah.
So I thought it's better I heal myself than somebody tell me. Yeah, so it's eventually speaking out. So rather than speaking out, I'm writing, right?
Yeah, that's the best form.
And then I picked hobbies, and I recently started learning music, and so yeah, I mean all of these things helps. I mean I think hobbies help a lot. I mean you can pick new hobby and then you
Yeah.
can immerse yourself
Yeah.
into it. That's when I also learned acro yoga here when I met you here. When I moved to Bangalore. So yeah, I
It's
mean
great.
every now and then I'm learning something new. So yeah, so I think hobbies definitely help.
It really does.
So yeah, so I mean, when you talk about your answering to your question, my support system is me myself. Yeah.
Nice. Also, like, what do you, when I approached you about sync and I told you about, what sync is and what are your thoughts and feelings around that?
I think this is a really I think for anything to solve. I mean to solve any problem in this world. I mean there are two things which I need, which are not I need. I mean there should be two things which are essential. One is a space to talk about the problem. No. Before that, to understand there is a problem, right? If you don't even understand there is a problem, how would you try to address
Address
it?
it, yeah.
That's one. Second is to find a space to talk about the problem. Once you find a space to talk about the problem, there will be more people coming in, right? And talking about it, and then there would be a support system. So I think there are two things. I mean, this is really fantastic as a platform because I feel you are addressing both the problems here. First, you're talking about the problem and telling the people, look, there is a problem, right? And then second, you're providing a space where people are coming and talking about the problem. And when these two things are there, and I think eventually, the, then the policy comes in, the doctors comes in, then so I think it slowly and it takes some time. I would say that it eventually will happen immediately, but two steps,
One
which
step at a
definitely,
time.
yeah. So
I,
it's being taken care, yeah.
a little slow process, but I hope that a lot of people feel the confidence from hearing from you and come forth, because it's a little sensitive and it's a very thin barrier of like how much do you feel like sharing. How do you feel after sharing? I should actually ask you this. How do you feel after sharing all of this?
Yeah, I think, see this. I'm sharing because I think it. I hope this helps somebody out there. Some person, because this was my journey, right? Sharing, I think it definitely helps a lot. You yourself, because you you become more relieved, and also because my sharing was more with me. It was more on a paper and pen. Here I'm sharing with the other people, those who might be sharing the same same experience, right? So sharing definitely helps, and I think bringing people together, share a particular space to express their feelings, whatever they're going through, is also really important, I suppose.
True. Yeah. I'm trying to, I'm a bit running out of questions, but I hope, like, I think I've answered each and everything. Like, it's so invisible. Like you can hear Gurpreet say, it's so invisible. He barely had any, I don't think he had any physical symptoms, as in like rashes or any of that, but he just had debilitating
Mental health.
mental. I want to put it that way, but like I think strength and energy that
Yeah.
was dipping more than, because it seemed like you were really conscious in terms of your mental health. Like I think if you're hearing this, you should really be inspired by how Gurpreet actually took it in terms into his hands, how he managed his mental health and how he took a path into managing that, which might help you. And I cannot say like I'm a bit speechless, but I am immensely thanks to your support and giving a light to other people as well, and supporting what Singh does,
Yeah.
so that many more people feel the confidence and come forth. And I'm there if you feel shy, if you feel conscious in sharing. I will be there right next to you, just like Gurpreet. So you feel comfortable, you feel comfortable,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I
I
was
can
totally
scare you.
comfortable. I was absolutely comfortable.
And I'll
Yeah.
pick nice spots also, okay? Is that true?
All right.
It's like I'm putting you on spot. Like, no, I don't have anything on me, okay?
I was when I came here, I was thinking what I will speak about, and then this was like a very natural conversation which we had. Thanks to you. I mean, you are really lovely, and we had like a lot of time during acro yoga, which is why I'm more comfortable with you. I mean, if it would have been some other stranger, I would not have been really comfortable. And of course, yeah, thanks to this platform. Yeah,
Thank
pleasure.
you so much. And I really, really, with the bottom of my heart, feel so happy and like motivated to do more of these. I hope many of you also come forth and give motivation to others to also break from the comfort zone to like make it louder, because Sync, you matter, Gurpreet matters, and a whole lot of
You
people
matter.
matter.
Yeah.
We all do matter. So please do come forth. You can follow me on Instagram and follow me in YouTube to see more documentaries like these. And you can reach out to my email ID if you feel like sharing. And let's have our next conversation.
Yeah.
I am so happy. What about
Same,
you?
yeah, I'm pleasure. I mean, this is a. I mean, weather influences me a lot, so definitely this is a lovely day, and yeah, pleasure. Thank you.
So thank you and see you. Take care. Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.
Bye bye.